Welcome to the This is Friendship podcast. It's been a really fun ride with both Joy and Karli, my co-hosts. We're launching episode 14 already, and I'm super excited about the topic, which is health and wellness. We've explored topics in relation to self-doubt, self-love. We've talked a little bit about how the pandemic has shaped our lives or reshaped our lives. We've talked about perfection. We've talked about ambition. We've also explored change as well. I'm super excited to launch into health and wellness. Also wanted to say thanks so much to all of our subscribers, our followers. We've had some very nice emails come in relation to support. It's always exciting for us to hear from you. So please drop us a message. You can do that via Instagram. You can send us an email. We would just love to hear from you. In general, just how we can support you. On to our health and wellness topic. In the truest sense, health is a state of being, while wellness is often defined as living a healthy lifestyle. And both mean different things to different women. Let's explore our perspectives on health and wellness and how it shapes and influences our physical and emotional well-being. Starting with the first question, I do want to mention, we'll start with Karli, but we have a health and wellness coach live and in the house. We are super excited to have Karli's expertise, not only with every episode, but also in relation to health and wellness. Karli, with your go ahead, I'm going to start with you with the first question. How do you define health and wellness, and or what do both mean to you?
Just the more I've gotten, actually moving to Arizona and just having a different type of lifestyle here than I had previously. But health, just exactly what you said. Health to me is your physical being, your heart, your blood pressure, your whatever you have going on physically. And then the wellness piece is to me more about living, and it's your spirit, it's your mind, it's being well-rounded in your life and striving for that balance. To me, that's the wellness piece. They obviously go hand in hand and have overlapping components. That's how I think about health and wellness. And being a health and wellness coach, those are the things I really do help women with, is the physical piece of maybe they just came from a doctor's appointment and they've been told that they're pre-diabetic and they need to make some changes in their eating and physical activity to help prevent them getting to the point where they're diagnosed with diabetes. That's just one example, but I'm helping them make changes in their life that improve their health. And then on the wellness side of coaching, I'm helping women live a more well-rounded life. And that incorporates the physical piece, the mental piece, the emotional piece, social, finances, career satisfaction, all of those components tied in. So it's wellness to me is just more full-blown, I guess. Does I answer the question? I think you had a first part that I probably did not answer.
No, you absolutely did. You did. And I love that. I wanted to gain everybody's perspective because I think everyone defines it a little bit differently. Yes. And I love how you're saying health and wellness go hand in hand, but it isn't one particular attribute. It isn't just physical. It isn't just emotional. It's the whole being as it relates to well-being. So thank you for that. Joy, kicking it over to you. How do you define health and wellness, and or what do both mean to you?
I think health to me means doing everything physically that you want to be able to do. I think that looks different for everyone and every stage of everyone's lives, but I think it's important to be able to do the things that you want to do in your life. And so whatever that looks like, if you're happy just running around, running marathons, then make sure that's like the health that you're doing. You're keeping up pace with, whether it's nutrition or hydration or whatever. If your health looks like just being able to get up and get a little walk in, or be able to get your daily things done, then that is still healthy in that case. So I think health to me probably looks like whatever you're happy doing, whatever the wellness piece of it is doing. There's all those components of nutrition and like Karli, you said, like all the physical things like your blood pressure and all that good stuff, what your doctor recommends, what your doctor says you should or shouldn't be doing, which those are all components to be able to add up to being able to accomplish whatever you want to in a healthy way. Wellness for me, I think wellness for me means happiness. Wellness equals happiness to me. I feel like when you're well, emotionally, physically, mentally, you're probably going to be pretty well. You're probably going to be rocking and rolling and living your best life and doing everything that you want to stay healthy and keep you going. And whether that's keeping up with your grandbabies' activities, whether that's chasing toddlers, whether that's climbing mountains or going through canyons, whatever that is, I feel like they go, health and wellness go hand in hand, and it looks different for everybody, but that's kind of how I would define health and wellness, is being able to do whatever you want to do to make you happy.
Love. I heard foundation. It's the foundation for everything. And I also loved how you said stages of life. Pre-baby health and wellness is a little bit different maybe than expecting mom's health based on trimesters, or a collegiate athlete health and wellness is going to be different than someone who's in their 60s or 70s that are trying to find a core foundation just to maintain joint stability. So I loved how you referenced stages of life. For me, health is commodity sounds a little bit cold, but I think it deserves so much attention. And I think it is the foundation of who we are. And I think of wellness as a lifestyle. So when you have your health, you're able to live that lifestyle. Small choices every day can either set you up for success or they can take away from your health. And so to me, that would be how I would define health and wellness. Transitioning to our second question, what or who has been the biggest influence on your health, Karli?
Hands down, dance and gymnastics. I was a competitive gymnast growing up. Dance was very much a part of that world for me, and it was hardcore until I was a sophomore in high school. And that really was the foundation, being an athlete, being a gymnast, which, by the way, is a huge body image sport. I feel very fortunate that I came out of my experience with a healthy body image. However, probably compared to the person next door, they would not say I have a healthy body image, just because I'm just hyper aware of it. And I know we're going to talk about that. But hands down, gymnastics had the biggest influence on me on how I perceive health and really wellness too, because being an athlete is also a lot about your mind and the psychology behind how you're able to work through hard days, work through pain, be competitive, not let the competition stress you out or freak you out or throw you off your game. That's hands down my biggest influence.
Sounds like a lot of pressure, both mind and body.
Definitely. Growing up, I was, again, fortunate not to have a lot of injuries, and there's pressure on your body in that sport. You're using muscles you wouldn't even know you have to do that sport. And then it's definitely a mind game as well, because you're up on a 4-inch piece of wood, essentially 4 feet off the ground, doing some pretty scary stuff. And so you have to be able to work through fear. You have to be able to maintain composure in a competitive environment and maintain focus. It's a huge, as any sport really always has a mind component, which I don't know those are things I just learned from that sport. So it's pressures, it's some pressure externally from your coaches and your teammates potentially, but it is a lot of internal pressure as well.
Sure, that makes sense. Joy, how about you? What or who has been the biggest influence on your health?
Ooh, this is a good question. I feel like my mom is probably my biggest influencer. My mom would be the person that's had the most influence on health and wellness. Growing up, looking at pictures, she was not the mom image that I knew growing up. She had her own challenges that she worked through when I was a young baby. And growing up, she has always had challenges battling weight. And I think just like most humans do, go through ups and downs, and five pregnancies, 5 kids, raising 5 kids. There's a lot of different changes that her own body went through, but she has definitely struggled, had her own challenges that she's worked through. But I know that I have a piece of a health concern. Obesity runs in my family. So I know that's a contributing factor that prevented my mom from being able to do things when we were younger and growing up. And I know that was really not only hard physically, but mentally for my mom too. When she was going back and through challenges, body image challenges, she got in a car accident, which put her at some mobility difficulty challenges, moving and getting around as well too. So when you've got these health challenges and these wellness challenges, and then you layer on life happens, a car accident that's an accident, right? Nobody's intentions. And then you've got to layer on that and try and figure out life forward through there. That's some pretty heavy stuff. That's some stressful stuff. So I think it's taken her a long time, both mentally and physically, trying to work through and overcome. But I am so excited. She is reaching her goals continually. And even through this pandemic, she's reached out to find resources to help her through dieting, and then also a Fitbit. We got her a Fitbit, and she was so super excited about that and started getting really excited about tracking her steps. And then not only that, but seeing the cause and effect of what she's doing to get results, which I think is so crucial for everyone's learning process. But I would say my mother is definitely my biggest influencer, because I've seen her walk through the challenges mentally, verbally with me, talking through them. And as I've gotten older, at the same time working through my own body challenges and body issues, I think I can relate and understand that's where I want to come from. Is I just want to be able to do all the things that I want to be able to do physically. And I think she really has been my biggest influencer to guide me in that way.
Thank you for sharing. She sounds very, very strong.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for her wins.
She keeps going. She keeps going.
Very motivating, very inspiring. So we talked about a couple of different things there. We talked about body image. We talked about body awareness. We talked about diet. I don't even know where I can or where I should begin as it relates to influence for me. I wrote down just my own personal struggles, I guess, have been the catalyst for health and wellness in my life. And I remember I started dance at the age of 3. And I remember probably around that time, maybe 4 or 5, that's when body awareness came into play, which is how you're moving your body. Are you coordinated? You have to be coordinated to dance. And so I think that's when it really started to become aware to me in terms of just body awareness. I think that as time went on, we go through varying stages in our lives. And I think sometimes you can, through hormones or just through adolescence, your body just changes. And I think that's when I started kind of struggling a little bit. I looked at health and wellness as maybe something that was negative and not necessarily forced on me, because those were my choices. But I felt like probably at that stage I was going to have to exercise. And I didn't quite know what to do, and or that word diet came up and came into play. And I believe, or I feel really strongly in that self-awareness and that self-esteem component for young women, because I think through my struggles I can absolutely relate, and I think that has been the catalyst for me in terms of becoming a Pilates instructor. When I was in high school, I ran track. I ran short distances. I did the 100 and the 400 relay. And so I never considered myself to be a long distance runner. And when I was in college, that's when I picked it up. So I just went out running with a friend, and it was tough. The first mile was really tough. And then we just kept running together, and we started going further, and then came my first half marathon. I think it's been just a catalyst for me to understand what is appropriate as it relates to nutrition and exercise, and to find that balance for me. I think I never thought I would be able to be a triathlete. And so, Karli, I think you had mentioned the mind-body connection, and I had a big disconnect for a very long time. I can't pinpoint it to one specific thing. I just know that I always struggled with that, and really looked at health and wellness probably more negatively when I was younger. And I wish that I would have had the mindset or the clarity or just more of that positive piece as I do now. Now I look forward to working out. It's not a punishment. It's, I get to do this, and I try to find gratitude, and it leads to joy, what you had mentioned, that lifestyle component, which is being able to lead the life that you want to live. Question number 3, Karli, how have your health and well-being behaviors changed in various stages of your life?
Okay, so I did gymnastics all the way through college, and I did have a bit of a break from the private club hardcore training competition from the end of my sophomore year until my going into college.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
When did you start gymnastics, Karli?
I was a little bit older compared to today's standards. I think I was probably 7. I did dance first. I started dance when I was 5. And through that, the dance teacher had an instructor come in and do 15 minutes of acrobatics, where we learned somersaults, forward rolls is what you would call them today, and cartwheels, things like that. And I loved it. It was awesome. And from there, that instructor started gymnastics program that was a competitive program in classes and things like that, recreational. But that's how I got into that. And so I remember starting to compete when I was probably 8 or 9. But anyway, so I did that private club, competitive gymnastics, loved it, worked up to the elite level. And then I left doing that when at the end of my sophomore year in high school, and I did high school gymnastics for a couple of years, which no longer exists in many states for liability reasons, I'm sure, safety. I did that through high school, and then I was fortunate enough to get a college scholarship. So that's what got me to Arizona initially. I went to Arizona State and did gymnastics for 4 years there. So I did gymnastics until I was 21. And then I did not want to do anything for a really long time. I only loved gymnastics and dance. That was what I liked to do. I didn't like to do any other kind of sport. I didn't want to go running. I still hate running to this day, Andi. I don't know how you do it. I've never gotten that runner's high. It's never happened to me. So that is definitely not one of my favorite things to do. But I had a really active job in retail. I was on my feet. I was walking. We didn't have Fitbits and things like that back then, but I'm sure I was walking probably 5-6 miles a day, just back and forth in the stores, and I was lifting boxes. And so that was my exercise. I just really never thought about it. And then I started having kids. So then I was active when I got home as well, chasing them around. I really didn't find the gym per se until my kids were, a little bit older. And then I had some gym memberships. I liked I would go to the group classes. I preferred that over doing my own thing on the machines or whatever. It just was boring. I get bored really easily in the gym. I know that about myself. So finding a class that I enjoy is really important. I was in and out of that. And then I had another active job when I left retail at a community theater where I was walking all over the place, moving a lot, lifting heavy stuff. And then I came to my job where I met the two of you. So that was my first desk job, and it was hard on me. I was like, this job makes your butt big. That was my motto. So I ended up I started having back issues, and I was gaining weight because I wasn't active. So as active during the day as I had been in just my job. So I ended up finding a gym there, but that's when I implemented a standing desk too, to stand during the day. That helped out my physical issues I was having with like my back and shoulders hunched over, typing in a computer all day. That helped me there. And I completely forgot the question.
No, you're answering it perfectly. How have your health and well-being behaviors changed in various stages of your life?
Oh yeah, okay, good. I'm older than you guys, so I have a lot more stages.
Hardly.
So yeah, what I have really found in probably the last 10 years of my life, I've always known it. I don't want to do it if I don't like doing it. If it's a chore, I am not interested. And that comes from my gymnastics upbringing, a big chunk of my life spent doing that sport. I loved it. And yeah, there were days where you didn't want to go practice, but I loved it. And I don't want to do stuff I don't like to do. It's when I got to college for the first time, I had to do some training outside of the gym. We had to swim in the morning. We had to do some running up and down stadium steps. We had to go to the weight room and lift weights. I was like, this is the worst. I hate this. I just wanted to be in the gym doing stuff. And we always did cardio training and that kind of stuff when I was in gymnastics, but it was there in the gym and it was all built into what you were doing. I did not like going out and having to do those separate things. I just didn't like it. And so I get bored very easily. That's just my personality. I have a short attention span, and if I like it, I'm not doing it. So I've really had a mind shift recently of I can move and really love it. I don't have to be in the gym. The pandemic really reinforced that for me. I can do my own thing and do stuff I like and have fun while I'm doing it and still get in my movement. And I have switched my mindset to movement instead of working out or going to the gym. I don't use those words in my vocabulary anymore. It's more about movement because, as you mentioned earlier, Joy, it's whatever it is to you. Everyone can move. Not everyone wants to go work out.
It's exercise for health instead of it being mandated. And I love that you understand and you know how you're wired and how you're motivated, which is such a big part of it because you have to be motivated in order to move.
True. And I have full on respect for people that does work for, who think of it I got to go work out. I want to be in the gym. I want to be intense. I have full respect for that. If that's what works for you, then that's what you should do. But it's important to recognize what works for you. So if you're someone who doesn't like that kind of stuff and that's what's stopping you from moving, don't let it, because that's not what is required. What's required is finding out what works for you and doing that. Off my soapbox.
Thank you, ladies. This topic, I had a feeling it was going to be a long-winded one in a very good way. Like I said at the top of the episode, I was so excited to get and gain your perspectives as it relates to health and wellness. We're going to end here and turn this into a two-part series. Thanks so much for tuning in. Join us on YouTube. Not sure if you know that we're on YouTube, but we do have a This Is Friendship podcast YouTube channel. So if you want to see us live, and in person, please check us out on YouTube. Ladies, thanks so much. I'll catch you on the next episode.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.